Thank you very much. I can see wall clapping there. So thank you. So I'm going to pass it off now to Leith and Rob.
Okay, that's great.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone. I'm Leith.
Well, I guess I must be Rob then. It's been a long day, so I'm not really sure who I am anymore. But no,
Great to be
yeah,
here. Great to
we
see everybody.
we like to play music together. It's really nice to have someone in your own home that you can play
Sorry to
music.
interrupt, Leith and Rob, but you're sounding quiet again.
Oh, are we?
Oh, okay.
Check that microphone.
Yeah,
Tell them we're on the
it's
Yeti.
on the Yeti.
Okay, we'll just be louder.
How's that?
Well, that doesn't do anything.
Any good there?
Good.
That's
That's
perfect.
good.
That's better.
That's good.
Okay, that's better.
We were having
Okay.
some trouble with the microphone, so just
Yeah, we've
yeah.
got a worn out USB port. I think.
Oh yeah, we're all worn out
We
after
could
2
sing
years.
that a worn out USB blues or something.
Sounds like an old time tune to me.
Anyways, we like to play music together, and we live in the same house, so it's really great, you know. And during the pandemic, we play in a band together. We play in a band called the Sybaritic String Band that plays for contra dances over at the Rogue Folk Club, usually once a month. But there's been no dances for the last couple of years because people don't want to be that close to each other. So at least we get to play together. So
Yeah, in our band, the Sybaritic String Band, I put the URL in the chat there. So Rob plays all kinds of rhythm. I play piano usually, but I've started to play more fiddle as we're playing together here. We have a fabulous fiddler called Rich Sobel and a wonderful saxophonist called Claire McCaig in the band. So we're always happy to play with them, but we're lucky we have each other to play with.
yeah.
So
And we play music from all over the place. Yeah,
Yeah.
not just from Ireland, but from here, there, and everywhere. We just find tunes we like and play them, I think.
yeah, we
But
tend
these ones
we
are
play ones that are good to dance to.
these ones Irish.
We're playing 3 tunes to start with. The first one's Irish, Miss Monaghan. We've got a second one
Miss
that's
Thompson.
Miss Thompson, and the third one is Miss MacLeod from Scotland.
Miss
Miss
Shepherd's.
Shepherd's from Scotland, and this is called the Mrs. set because of that. So
Are you gonna count or am I gonna count?
out there a little
folks.
bit.
We're just getting it together here.
Yes. So we have some jigs to play next. So with dance music, there are jigs and reels. Jigs are kind of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and a reel is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a bit more driving. So these are jigs that are Irish jigs, and they're Christy Berries, the Butlers of Glen Avenue, and we're finishing up with a good one called the Mug of Brown Ale.
We didn't put you guys in gallery view, but I'm hoping there's lots of people dancing. That's the deal.
Yeah, honestly, this is supposed to be music for dancing. It's not
Because
really concert music, weird to play without dancers. But
I think we're going to play a set of tunes, and then we're going to be able to sit down and relax and listen to a really nice story. So you might want to get a little aerobic before that.
exactly.
Okay. Christy Berries.
Okay, we're going to pass it over to Philomena. Thank you.
Thanks so much, folks. Thanks for listening. We'll be back.
Hello. Okay, I guess I'm on. I didn't quite hear Leith and Rob there just at the end. So I guess I'm on now. Hi, everyone. And it's so great to be back part of the Stride Festival again this year. And thank you to Grant and Union and all the people who put all this work into this community festival. And I'm so proud to live here in Burnaby and be so much a part of it all. So anyway, so the first story I have for you tonight, here it is. So a long time ago, there was a poor farmer and he was living down in the south of Ireland. He had one daughter, Maureen, and he had raised her from once she was a little girl because her mother had died young. And Maureen had turned out to be a beautiful and clever young woman. Now, to make a little extra money, the poor farmer used to go and plow some fields for his rich neighbors. So one day he was out with his horse and plowing a field down the road, when he heard a funny sound, like the plow hit something in the earth. So he stopped working and he dug down into the dirt and he found a beautiful gold cup. Well, of course, the question arose then as to who owned the cup. Did it belong to the man who found it, or the man on whose land it was found? Well, in those days, as sometimes happens now, when people were having disputes, they went to the local magistrate. And the local magistrate, he lived in the local town. He was a young man. And he was so tired of people coming to him with all these little disputes that when the two men turned up the next day, he said to them, I want you to go home and think about these 3 questions I'm going to ask you. And whoever comes back with the best answer tomorrow, that's who will get the cup. And this is the questions, here are the questions that he asked them. He said, what is the richest thing of all? What is the fastest thing of all? And what is the heaviest thing of all? Well, the rich man went home to his wife, who knew most things, and she said, well, that's easy. The richest thing of all, well, that's the king. The king is the richest of all. And the fastest thing of all, well, we have a grey mare out there who wins all the races all around the country. She is the fastest of all. And the heaviest thing of all, well, everybody knows that iron is the heaviest thing of all. Well, the poor farmer went home to his daughter Maureen, and he told her what had happened. And she said, oh, Father, we need to think about these questions. And so Maureen was thinking about them while she was doing her chores and while she was getting the dinner ready. And when the dinner was on the table, she sat down with her father and she said, Father, I think that the richest thing of all, why, that's the earth, because it gives us everything we need. And the heaviest thing of all, well, I think that is sorrow. And I think that there's no family anywhere that doesn't have the weight of sorrow on them at some time or another. And the fastest thing of all, well, that's our minds, because our minds can travel in a second from one country to another. It can go all the way to China and back in a second. Well, when the 2 men turned up the next day at the magistrate's office, he was very impressed with the answers that Maureen's father gave him. And so he gave him the cup. But when the farmer was leaving, he called him back and he said, did you come up with these answers yourself? And the poor farmer said, no. He said, I have a daughter, Maureen. Well, the magistrate said, I'd like to meet her. Could she come to my office tomorrow? Well, Maureen came to his office the next day. And when she got there, he was in the middle of trying to sort out a dispute between two brothers. And it was the kind of dispute that often happens in Ireland and in many, many countries. Their father had died without leaving a will. And there was some very, very rich land, and there was some poor marshy land. And the oldest brother and the youngest brother were fighting over who should get what. Well, in desperation, the magistrate turned to Maureen and asked her what she would do. And this is the advice she gave. She said, let the oldest brother divide the land, and let the youngest brother take first pick. So that's a good bit of advice for all of us if we're ever dividing up something. Well, the magistrate was impressed, and he thought to himself, this is the woman for me. And by the end of the day, he had asked her to marry him. Well, when his family heard that he was going to marry a poor farmer's daughter, well, they were shocked, and they said, at least give her another challenge before you marry her. So when he saw Maureen again, he said, on our wedding day, I want you to come to me, neither clothed nor naked, neither riding or walking, and neither with a gift or without one. Well, Maureen went home to her father and she told him what had happened. And he said, don't have anything to do with him. He's crazy. But she said, no, father, here's what I want you to do for me. I want you to get me a fishing net, a billy goat, and a pigeon. Well, the father thought to himself, what was I thinking? They're so well matched. They're both crazy. But he loved his daughter, and he went out and got her what she wanted. And when he came back, Maureen went up into her room and she took off her clothes and she wrapped the fishing net all around her body. Then she came down and she went out and she stood astride the billy goat with her feet dangling onto the ground. And then she took the pigeon. Well, sometime later, the magistrate looked out his window and he saw this apparition coming down the street. She wasn't clothed, but neither was she naked. She wasn't walking, but you couldn't say that she was riding the billy goat. And then he saw the pigeon in her hand and he called out, you have brought me a gift. She said, yes, I have brought you a gift. And then she opened her hand and the pigeon flew away. Well, they were married. But soon after they were married, her husband asked her a strange thing. He made a strange request. He asked her to promise that from now on, she would not interfere in his business or give any advice to him unless he requested it. And if she broke her promise, she would have to go back to her father again. Well, Maureen made the promise. She loved her husband and she made the promise. But sometimes it wasn't easy for her because sometimes he didn't always make the best decisions. But she said nothing until one day, her father's oldest friend, John, she saw him coming out of her husband's office, shaking her head. And she said, John, what's the matter? Oh, he said, your husband, I don't know what he is thinking, but you know that I have a grey mare, and I lent her to my neighbor down the road to pull his cart. And she was giving birth to a foal, and the birth happened much earlier than expected. And the foal was born right there in the field under the cart. And this man has come to your husband, and your husband says that whoever owns the cart owns the foal. Well, Maureen said to him, now listen, and I will give you some advice. But please do not tell my husband that you got this advice from me. Well, the next day, the magistrate was looking out the window of his office, and he saw John outside on the road, and he had a bucket in front of him, and he had a long stick with a bit of string on it dangling down into the bucket. So he came out onto the road and he said, John, oh, what are you doing? He said, I'm fishing. Well, John, you're not going to catch a fish like that. Well, said John, I have as good a chance of catching a fish out of this bucket as a cart has of giving birth to a foal. Aha, said the magistrate, I know who you've been talking to. You got that advice from my wife, didn't you? And he strode into the house and he said, you have broken your promise to me. You promised not to interfere in my business. And now you must go back to your father's house. Well, Maureen said, very well, I will go. But can I take from this house the thing I love the best? Well, you've been a good wife, he said. Yes, you can take whatever you want from the house. Well, that evening, she was getting herself prepared to go, and she made a pot of tea. And when he wasn't looking, she slipped a sleeping powder into his cup, and he drank it down with the tea. And he did not wake for a long time. And when he did, he looked around and he didn't recognize where he was. Where am I? He said. You're at my father's house, she said. You said that I could take the thing I loved best. And should that is you, my dear, dear husband. Well, finally, he understood. Finally, he understood that he had not only married the most beautiful and loving woman in all of Ireland, but the smartest one as well. And he finally realized that he did not always make the best decisions. And he needed her help doing that. And so he promised to her that whenever, ever, that she offered advice from now on, he would be only too pleased to take it. And so began a better, loving harmony with these two. And they loved and they lived in much contentment for many years after that. And that is the story of the clever daughter. Thank you.
That's great, Philomena.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry, I'd pass it over to Marilyn now.
That's
Sorry.
okay. That's lovely. Thank you. You'll have to bear with me to retune again here a little bit. Make sure. All right. Yeah, what a great story.
Mhm.
So nice to have story. You know, we Rob and Leith talked about playing for dances, and this music really is about playing together. So this is we were trying to remember how many times we've done this over Zoom again, and we think this is the third year in a row. We came this close, right? And when we came this close to being live this year, but Omicron had different had a different idea, but that's okay because we're still doing it. We're still together. We're still playing music and sharing music, and it's a very, very lovely thing. So it's just great to have you guys all here and see you. So we're gonna do a set of hornpipes next. Hornpipes are in 4/4 time, but they've got a bit more of a swing than reels do. And these ones are all from Ireland. So the first one's Galway Bay, so from the Galway area of Ireland. And the next one is, oh my goodness, Philomena, you might have to help me out. It's called Golden Castle, or it's called Caislean Dior. Philomena, can you help me pronounce that? The Golden Castle?
Caislean Dior.
Ah,
Wow.
Caislean Dior.
So I was
You were close.
I was really close. I was this
Yes,
close.
you did
Yeah.
good. You did
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and the last one is called The Humors of Tullican. So, all right, ready?
yeah.
Thank you. That was, yeah.
Thanks.
Good. All right. So I think we'll do another set. If we're doing 2 sets each. Okay. All right. We'll do another set. The next one is a set of slip jigs. Actually, they're the
Nine.
Booley House, and Booley House is a name. It was just made up by somebody, but it's a good name. I don't know what it means. And the next one, that's a traditional one. The other 2 are more modern. The first one's called Garrick's Wedding, and the next one is called
Farewell to Wally Range.
Farewell to Wally Range. So, okay. So slip jigs are, they're in 9/8 time, and they're very graceful dance that Irish dancers do in soft shoe. So it's you can just picture sort of a lovely, graceful Irish dancer coming through. All right, ready? Right, thank you. Thank you. And thank you very much. So we'll pass it over to Rob and Leith again.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Well, I think we had some
So,
sound problems the
yeah,
last time out.
we
So,
got a note saying there was some sound problems, so we changed
so how about
computers.
some thumbs up? Can people hear my mandolin now? We switched computers. There was a bit of a loose USB connection for those of you that are keeping track of the technical aspects of the evening. But-
Maybe we just play.
They can hear me.
Oh, well, I couldn't see. I thought
Yeah,
Dave was
no.
doing, but I haven't played the fiddle. Maybe we just play
Play the
something
fiddle.
together.
Play a couple of things on the fiddle.
Sorry about this, folks. Sound check as we play. Oops, sorry, and I'm hitting my husband.
I think it's good. Is that good? It's all good.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
gonna play
so we'll
three
see.
now.
Zoom.
Are these
another
kind
world.
of all
Yeah.
Quebecois kind of on some
So
level?
yeah, these are Quebecois tunes. Are Celtic diaspora, I guess, in Quebec. There's a lot of Celtic influence, and these are three Quebecois tunes. The first one is called Old French.
That one's played all over the continent, though, all over North America.
Yeah. Then there's Saint Joseph, and the growling old man and the grumbling old woman, which is one that we really like to play because
It's just like
it's
us.
just fun. Are we growling
No.
and grumbling? No.
No.
Jokester.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. You're gonna give me time, or
So there's a footstep with French Canadian. I don't know if you can see. You can't see my feet.
Can't see your
you can see
feet.
my
I
head,
hear
but
them.
there's a traditional kind of step. They do a keeping time with the feet. That's a lot of fun to play when you do fiddle.
Well, we're gonna do some country music now, right? Which country are we doing?
Aha. This is dance music, country dance music. This is a polska. It's Scandinavian. We kind of fell in love with the tune. The dance itself is a couple dance, and it's a whirling around couple dance. When I used to do Scandinavian dancing, we used to call this one the spin and puke dance. So don't
Ooh.
try this at home, folks. So we're going to do the polska, and then we're going to follow it with 2 Breton dances. Again, really simple kind of music, but the dancing is circle dancing, and it's kind of like trance. So if you want to get in a circle by yourself or with other people and dance around, it's a kind of meditation sort of music. So the polska,
And a couple of
Scandinavian,
Breton
and a
tunes.
couple of Breton dances.
We're mixing it up.
We'll do that.
Are you counting me in or anything? Okay. There you go. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks very much. And now, time for another story. Philomena.
Yeah, over to you, Philomena.
Yes, unmuting helps. So, oh, that was lovely. Thank you for the lovely music, both Marilyn and David and Leith and Rob. That's so lovely. It's lovely to have the music. Anyway, so some of you will have heard me tell this story before, but I thought it's a nice story, and I thought I would share it again. And I seem to be attracted to poor people in my stories these days. So we're now going to move to the west of Ireland, where there was a young couple who lived on a plot of land that they rented from the landlord. And the young man's parents lived with them. And like other people in the village, they had their troubles. The young man's mother had been slowly losing her eyesight for many years now, and now she was totally blind. And the young couple themselves, they had been trying for a child since they had been married 5 years before. And so far, a child had not been born to them. But the young couple did the best they could, and they helped the parents, and they made sure that they would have food on the table every day. But then a disease came on the potato crop that was their main source of food. And even though they still had a few bags of potatoes left from the year before, they knew that they would soon run out that they would run out very quickly, which they did. So the young man knew that it was up to him to see what he could do to find food, to take care of his family. And he knew that the only place that he might find some food was on the landlord's estate, where he might be able to catch some wild game and kill them. But he also knew that if he was caught, he'd be hanged. But he was prepared to take that risk to save his family. That evening, he went out into the barn where his father kept an old hatchet, and he brought it in, and he cleaned it, and he polished it, and he sharpened it. And bright and early the next morning, he walked down the road, and he climbed in over the high wall into the landlord's estate. Excuse me. Well, all that day, all that day he wandered through the fields, down by the river, through the woods, but he couldn't find anything. He couldn't find any wild game to kill. And so he made his way back again that evening towards the wall that he had climbed over in the morning. But as he was about to climb over the wall, he looked around, and there, under a tree, was standing a white deer. Well, he couldn't believe his eyes. He lifted up the hatchet and he ran to strike the deer. But suddenly the deer spoke. "Spare me," he said. "Spare me, and I will grant you a wish." Well, what was this, thought the young man? A talking deer? A wish? He was just about to say something when the deer spoke again. "Now listen," he said. if you kill me, there's a good chance that you will be caught. And you know that if you're caught, you will be hanged. But if you make a wish, you could save yourself and your whole family. Why don't you go home and think about it? And come back tomorrow. And I'll be still here if you still want to kill me. Well, the young man climbed over the wall and he headed home. And he thought that the hunger was affecting his mind. The first person he met when he got home was his father. He was out in the yard. And he told him about the deer and about the wish. Oh, wish for gold, said his father. That will solve all our problems. Well, the young man loved and respected his father, and he thought about what he said as he made his way into the house. And there, sitting by the fire, was his blind mother. And he told her about the deer and about the wish and what his father had said. Oh, wish for my eyesight to be restored, she said. That is more precious than gold. Well, the young man loved and respected his mother too. And he thought about what she said as he made his way down to the back room that he shared with his wife. And he told her about the deer and about the wish and what his parents had said. Oh, husband, she said, you know that I love and respect your parents, but you and I have been wanting a child for the longest time now. Surely that's the most precious wish of all. Well, the poor young man, he didn't know what he was going to do. Should he wish for the gold or his mother's eyesight to be restored or the child that he knew he and his wife so much wanted? Well, I can tell you now, he didn't sleep very well that night. He tossed and he turned, and he tossed and he turned, and he got up before the dawn, and he started to make his way down that road again, and he climbed in over the fence. And sure enough, the deer was still there. He was a bit surprised. Well, said the deer, have you decided to make a wish? Yes, I have, said the young man. Then tell me what it is, and it will be granted to you. So the young man took a deep breath, and he said, I wish that my mother could see my wife rocking our child in a golden cradle. And the wish was granted, and that family lived in great contentment for many, many years. And that is the story of the one wish. Thank you. And back to you, Marilyn.
That's such a great story. What a wise person. I'm gonna tune again because it's usually a good idea. So we're gonna play. I think we'll just play one set because we've got about 20 minutes left, and that'll leave time for other people to do things. So we're gonna play a set of jigs, and jigs are usually happy little things, but these are all minor, so they're not going to be happy at all. But they are interesting. Well, the first one is written by a man named Paddy Fahey, and Paddy Fahey was a farmer that lived in Ireland. And he just wrote beautiful tunes. He was a farmer. He never recorded anything, but he wrote beautiful tunes. And he wrote about 80 of them, I think. And they're all named Paddy Fahy's. So there's Paddy Fahey 1, Paddy Fahey 2. So I don't know which number we're doing here, but this was one of them. The second one is called Sean Ryan's. And the third one is called The Nightingale. All right. All right. Thank you. All right, over to you, Leith and Rob.
Back.
Hi.
Nice tunes.
Great. Love those tunes. Sounds wonderful. We'll just end up with one quick one in North America. So an American
tunes.
set for something like a Virginia reel or a contra dance even. So these are 3 tunes. The one is the 8th of January.
Yeah, so it's kind of an old time version of 8th
Old
of
time.
January.
The second one is called the Fiddler's Dream. Fiddler's Dream a lot. And then the third one is June Apple. And I don't know what the story is for that, June Apple. I guess apples are usually later in the season, so June Apple must be kind of a rarity, maybe. I don't know.
Anyways, let's play these ones.
Let's play these ones.
You want to potato me in for this? That's it.
Thank you.
A rousing set of tunes. And back to Philomena.
Yeah,
maybe
back
for
to
one last
Philomena. Do
story.
you have time for that?
We've got like 9 minutes.
I didn't quite hear. It's pretty close to closing time, so I think maybe if you play another tune, I'm good.
If you want, well, maybe Marilyn and Dave should play another
I
tune.
can't hear.
You can't hear us?
Can't hear. I can't hear you.
Can you hear? You were just a little bit quiet there, Leith and Rob.
Oh,
Um,
Yeah,
what should we do? So Philomena, you don't have a, you probably don't have an
well, I
8-minute
have,
story.
yeah, I could have another story, but it's tight for the time now. So I think, yeah, if you each want to play another tune, I'm fine with that.
Or Marilyn and Dave, you could just take us out. Play something.
Sure. Yeah, we could do yeah, we could do the, want to do the Hag set then?
The hag set.
These are all, it's called the Hag set because the first one is called the Hag's Purse. And the second one's Old Hag, you have killed me, right? And then the third one is called the
Yes.
Hag at the Churn.
Oh, great.
So maybe we could make that more politically correct, but this was Ireland in the old days. All these tunes were written by men. You know, by next year, maybe I'll rename them something else. Okay. Actually, we've never performed these ones in public, so we'll see
All right,
how
here
it
we go.
goes. All right. There, who said it wasn't rock and roll?
Thank
Thanks.
you. Thank you very much, Marlene and Dave and Leith and Rob. Thank you as well. And Philomena, awesome like always with great stories. And thank you everyone from joining us again. We are like super happy that you were able to join this event. And I don't know if now you can see the chat, Philomena. I know that you don't want to look at the chat and all those distractions, but now you can see the chat and see how everybody is saying thank you so much. and how wonderful it was for everyone. So
Just want to thank you, Yunwen, and everyone, all the volunteers for this festival,
Yeah.
just keeping
Yeah,
the
it's a
spirit
great-
going.
It's a great
Yes.
festival.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
doing
Yeah, thank you
everything
so
that you
much.
do.
Thanks,
And next
thanks
year
everyone
in
for
person.
coming tonight. Yeah.
yes, I
Thanks.
mean that's the hope that next year we will be able to do in-person events, and that, you know, after three rounds here of the Celtic kitchen party, maybe we can actually have a party at the kitchen
In the
or
kitchen.
anywhere.
In the kitchen, yes, next year.
anywhere
That'd be great.
wherever
Yeah.
we can, but yes, just want to thank you again for participating, for sharing your talents with the community. Everybody, as you can see, appreciate them very much. And I just want to remind everybody that tomorrow we have another concert, the North Burnaby Blues Project. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. Garth Gibson was our musician at opening night last year, and he was fantastic. And this time he's bringing the whole band, so it's gonna be even better. So if you haven't registered, go to our website, and maybe Subi, you can put our website there, and register for tomorrow. The concert is at 7:30. It's a 1-hour concert, 7:30 to 8:30. It's gonna be on Zoom again, so you don't have to. You know, you can be in your pajamas already. You can be eating your dinner and just joining us and watching that. And again, just reminding you that there's still the displays out there in the heights for you to look at, and the Pechakucha evening on February as well, where you will get another chance to be entertained by Rob and Leith, who are such a great couple, and they're gonna be doing a presentation, and they're gonna be talking about Celtic music, but like the creative aspect of it and the community aspect of it, which is I'm sure gonna be amazing. And then Grant Withers, which is our co-chair for the Strife Festival, and he's there somewhere. And then Jenny Johnson, who is another one of our artists, who is also super talented and textile kind of artist, sewing and stitching, and does wonderful stuff with that. So don't want to miss that. So yeah, that's it, folks. Thank you so much for coming, and good evening to everyone.